Chapter 8:10. The second storage ring was filled with elixirs, various spiritual herbs, and spiritual herbs. All of them were of high grade. There were grade 6, grade 7, and even grade 8 elixirs. All of them were stored in jade boxes and sealed with an array to prevent their spiritual essence from leaking out. Lu Ming's saliva almost flowed out of his mouth. He hurriedly looked at the third storage ring. There were a total of 3 storage rings here. The third storage ring contained some miscellaneous items. Lu Ming's gaze was immediately attracted by the pile of raw stones that resembled a mountain. Yes, raw stones piled up like a mountain. He didn't know how many there were. On the other side, there were large metal boxes. When he opened them, they were filled with esoteric crystals. There were all kinds of esoteric crystals, and all of them were mid-grade esoteric crystals. There were more than 100,000 of them. More than 100,000 mid-grade esoteric crystals. What kind of concept was that? Lu Ming's heart thumped loudly. Rich, really rich. Supreme 9 Suns indeed. Supreme 9 Suns said that there were no treasures, but in Lu Ming's eyes, they were all treasures. How long would these resources be enough for Lu Ming? Senior 9 Suns, I will definitely make good use of these resources. Lu Ming said in his heart. Then, his consciousness sank into the storage ring filled with elixirs and spiritual herbs, carefully inspecting them. This is Xiantian origin liquid. Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. He found 2 large jade bottles filled with Xiantian origin liquid. Moreover, they were all high-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Each bottle weighed at least 100 jin. In total, there were 200 jin of Xiantian origin liquid. This was a supreme spiritual liquid for cultivating one's physical body. This is Mother Spring Water. Lu Ming recognized a treasure in the other jade bottle. Mother Spring Water was a kind of spiritual liquid that was even more precious than high-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Haha, this Mother Spring Water is perfect for nurturing the Enlightenment Ancient Tree. With a thought from Lu Ming, the Enlightenment Ancient Tree appeared on the ground. Lu Ming took out the Mother of Water Spirit Spring and poured the entire bottle onto the profound yellow silicon soil. Lu Ming was looking forward to seeing if the Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree could grow with this bottle of Mother Spring Water. Then, he put the Enlightenment Ancient Tree into the Temple of Paragon. Then, he looked at it in his storage ring. Green lotus fruit, snake flower, underworld yin grass. Lu Ming looked at the spiritual grasses one by one. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. With a flick of his wrist, a jade box appeared in his hand. It's actually underworld yin grass. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled up into a sneer. He recalled a type of medicine called dark yin powder. He had learned about this medicine when he refined the spiritual fire of the 7-colored daoist. The netherworld yin powder was specifically used to deal with women. As long as a woman breathed in even a little bit, she would lose all strength and be unable to circulate her Jin Yuan. She would be at the mercy of others. The main ingredient of the netherworld yin powder was the underworld yin grass. Originally, Lu Ming wasn't interested in this kind of medicine. However, when he saw the underworld yin grass, he thought of Wang Haoxian. Didn't Wang Haoxian want to kill him? Then, he would let her have a taste of the underworld yin grass. Immediately, Lu Ming selected a few supplementary herbs and began to refine the netherworld yin powder. 2 hours later, Lu Ming successfully refined the netherworld yin powder. Wang Haoxian, I hope you haven't left yet. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He then left the cave and appeared outside the cliff. Then, Lu Ming flew into the sky. Now, he wanted to take the initiative to look for Wang Haoxian. Lu Ming flew quickly in the sky and circled around the area. More than an hour later, Lu Ming's eyes moved. In front of him, a fiery light flashed rapidly. It was Wang Haoxian. Lu Ming, I finally found you. Wang Haoxian screamed. Her face was hideous. She was obviously beautiful, but at this moment, there was no sense of beauty at all. Wang Haoxian, you've been chasing me for a few days. Do you miss me so much? Why don't you forget about your brother's revenge and be my concubine? Lu Ming chuckled and deliberately provoked Wang Haoxian. You're courting death. Wang Haoxian shouted angrily and rushed over quickly. She didn't think much about why Lu Ming didn't run away. She was furious now. Lu Ming, am a genius. It won't be a disgrace for you to be my concubine. Lu Ming continued to provoke Wang Haoxian. Sure enough, Wang Haoxian was even angrier. She pounced on Lu Ming in an instant and threw a punch at him. It was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming performed the hell-suppressing heaven skill and struck out with his palm. In this palm, a wisp of underworld yin powder spread toward Wang Haoxian. Bang! The fist and the palm collided. Lu Ming's body trembled and he quickly retreated. He felt his blood and qi surging and he almost vomited blood. I hope it works, Lu Ming thought. Wang Haoxian's body was surrounded by raging flames that could burn everything. However, the underworld yin powder contained the qi of the underworld. It was extremely cold and could resist the burning of the flames. Die. After Wang Haoxian punched Lu Ming back, she threw out another punch. Lu Ming once again raised his palm and this time, a wisp of underworld yin powder spread out. Wang Haoxian was furious and didn't notice it at all. In this way, Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian exchanged 5 moves in a row. Lu Ming was pushed back 5 kilometers and spat out a mouthful of blood. No, the underworld yin powder will probably take a while to take effect. Let's go first. Lu Ming turned around and ran. Don't even think about running. Wang Haoxian chased after him. One chased and one fled. In a short while, they had flown thousands of miles. Wang Haoxian, who was chasing, suddenly changed her expression. Her body trembled and she almost fell to the ground. It's working. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He stopped and turned around to look at Wang Haoxian with a sneer. What did you do to me? Wang Haoxian glared at Lu Ming. Nothing. Just a little bit of poison. Now, do you feel weak all over and can't use your true essence? Lu Ming sneered. You, despicable. Wang Haoxian's face turned pale. Despicable? Do you think I can be as despicable as your Wang family? Now, you're the one who's going to die. Lu Ming stepped out and attacked Wang Haoxian. Wang Haoxian gritted her teeth and turned around to run. Lu Ming chased after her. However, Wang Haoxian had been poisoned by the underworld yin powder, and it was getting harder and harder for her to use her true essence. Her speed was greatly reduced. Gradually, she couldn't even fly. She landed on the ground and trembled all over. Boom! Lu Ming also landed. He took a step forward and blasted a palm toward Wang Haoxian. At this time, Wang Haoxian couldn't use her true essence at all. She could only use her intent realm to resist. However, without true essence, her intent realm was extremely limited. Lu Ming destroyed Wang Haoxian's intent realm with one punch. Wang Haoxian groaned and her body flew far away. She fell to the ground and spat out blood. Her face was pale. Kill. Lu Ming stepped out, his murderous intent surging. Wang Haoxian closed her eyes in despair. She didn't expect that she wouldn't be able to kill Lu Ming in revenge for Wang Haoxian. Instead, she would be killed. However, after waiting for a while, she didn't feel Lu Ming's palm landing. She couldn't help but open her eyes, only to see Lu Ming looking at her carefully. His eyes flashed with lust from time to time. Chapter 8:11. Wang Haoxian's heart sank. Lu Ming, kill me if you want. If you humiliate me, I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. Wang Haoxian screamed. Humiliate you? You think too much, Lu Ming said coldly. He didn't kill Wang Haoxian because he thought of a better way. He thought of an inscription array that he learned from Liao Kang, the soul-splitting array. This array was very powerful. If it was engraved in a person's mind, it could penetrate his soul. The person who engraved the array would have complete control over his life and death. Wang Haoxian was very strong in both talent and combat strength. If he could control her, it would be very useful. He could get a lot of useful information from her. However, to engrave such an array, the target must be defenseless. Wang Haoxian couldn't use her genuine qi and was weak. It was the perfect time to do it. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lu Ming pointed at Wang Haoxian's body and completely sealed her. Not only could she not use her genuine qi, but she couldn't even use her will and spiritual fire. Then, Lu Ming took out a drop of Wang Haoxian's blood. Blue spiritual fire spread out from his finger and he started to engrave inscriptions in the void. What? What are you doing? Wang Haoxian said in a trembling voice. She was really panicking. However, Lu Ming didn't care about her and focused on engraving. Lines of inscriptions entered between Wang Haoxian's eyebrows. Wang Haoxian felt that there were more things in her mind and her face became paler. The soul-splitting array was very complicated. It contained 18,000 lines of inscriptions. Lu Ming spent an hour to complete it. Phew. Lu Ming exhaled. Tell me, what did you do to me? Wang Haoxian shouted. I just engraved an array. This array is called the soul-splitting array. It can penetrate your soul and contain my spiritual fire. As long as I use my mind, the soul-splitting array can tear your soul and turn you into an idiot. Lu Ming laughed. Wang Haoxian's face turned even paler. She screamed, You are despicable. You are shameless. You will die a horrible death. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He extended his finger like the wind and tapped on Wang Haoxian's body, releasing her seal. Then, he sat down cross-legged and waited quietly. He was waiting for Wang Haoxian to recover. An hour passed in the blink of an eye. Boom. Wang Haoxian's body emitted terrifying flames. Her killing intent was as cold as ice. Lu Ming, your biggest mistake is that you didn't kill me. Now, die. Wang Haoxian bellowed. Really? Did you forget that I inscribed the soul-splitting array in your mind? Lu Ming sneered. I don't care what you've engraved. Once I kill you, everything will be solved. Wang Haoxian's figure moved, charging towards Lu Ming. But in the next moment, Wang Haoxian's body stiffened, and a painful expression appeared on his face. Ah! A painful scream came out of Wang Haoxian's mouth. She held her head and rolled on the ground. Stop, stop. Wang Haoxian screamed, seeming to be in extreme pain. Lu Ming smiled faintly and stopped controlling the soul-splitting array. Only then did Wang Haoxian stop. She knelt on the ground and panted heavily. In just a short while, her body was drenched in cold sweat. Her thin clothes stuck to her body, accentuating her curvaceous figure. Her face was pale. She looked at Lu Ming in horror and shouted, You're despicable, you're shameless. Kill me if you dare. Kill you. Why would I kill you? You're very useful to me when you're alive. Lu Ming chuckled. Moreover, let me tell you, the soul-splitting array was created by my spiritual fire. It is completely controlled by my will. As long as I want it, it will activate. Moreover, don't even think about asking the elders of your Wang clan to undo it for you. Other than me, no one can undo it. If you try to forcefully undo it, the soul-splitting array will tear apart your soul and turn you into an idiot. Lu Ming's words made Wang Haoxian's face turn even paler. What are you trying to do? Wang Haoxian said in despair. It's very simple. You just have to stay by my side and be my maid in the future. Lu Ming said faintly. What? Be your maid? Dream on. I'd rather die than be your maid. Wang Haoxian screamed. Who was she? She was the pride of the Wang family and a famous beauty in Julong City. She was both beautiful and talented. Countless people fancied her. She was a god-level genius who was respected by many. As long as she continued to walk like this, she would have a great chance of becoming a spirit god in the future. Now, Lu Ming actually asked her to be his servant girl. How could she possibly agree and accept this? She would rather die than submit. You'd better agree. As long as I think about it, the soul-splitting array will turn you into an idiot. Believe it or not, I'll sell you to a brothel after turning you into an idiot. TSK, TSK. Countless men will go crazy if the god-level genius, Wang Haoxian, works as a prostitute in a brothel. Lu Ming sneered. Wang Haoxian's face was pale without a trace of blood. Her body trembled violently. If that was really the case, it would be a great humiliation for her. It would be 10 times or 100 times worse than killing her. She looked at Lu Ming with fear and a strong murderous intent in her eyes. She really wanted to kill Lu Ming with one move, but she didn't dare to. No matter how fast she attacked, it was impossible for her to be faster than Lu Ming's thoughts. She was really afraid that Lu Ming would turn her into an idiot and sell her to a brothel. I forgot to tell you something. The soul-splitting array is closely related to me. As long as I die, the soul-splitting array will automatically explode. So, don't think about killing me. You have to protect me in the future. Understand? Lu Ming said. Wang Haoxian was even more desperate. What do you want me to do? Let me tell you, if you want to do something to me or something that I can't do, I'd rather die than submit. Wang Haoxian gritted her teeth and agreed. Lu Ming smiled and strode forward. He reached out and gently lifted Wang Haoxian's chin. Wang Haoxian's body trembled and her eyes flashed with killing intent. She was really humiliated. The anger in her heart was about to burn her whole body. It was too sullen. Lu Ming was the enemy who killed her brother. She came here to kill Lu Ming for revenge. However, in the end, not only did she fail to kill Lu Ming, but she also fell into Lu Ming's hands. She even had to become Lu Ming's maid and listen to his orders. Not only that, but she also had to protect his safety. Was there anything more sullen in the world than that? Don't worry, I'm not interested in you. Lu Ming smiled faintly and took a few steps back. Such an understatement made Wang Haoxian so angry that her body heaved up and down. Her towering breasts trembled for a while. To be honest, Wang Haoxian was very beautiful. She could be called a peerless beauty with graceful curves. Countless geniuses pursued her. Now that Lu Ming said he was not interested, it was an invisible blow to Wang Haoxian. What I want you to do is very simple. In the future, stay with me in this wild beast forest and hunt demonic beasts to obtain their blood essence. In the future, you have to come here every 7 days to hand in 70% of the blood essence of demonic beasts above the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. For now, just do this one thing. Chapter 8:12. Since there was a free fighter, he naturally had to make full use of it. In the wild beast forest, there were countless powerful beasts. If he went to hunt beasts and devour their blood essence, the speed would be too slow. With Wang Haoxian by his side, he would be able to devote more energy to cultivation. Okay, I promise you. Wang Haoxian gritted her teeth. This request was not difficult, so she could accept it. She was afraid that Lu Ming would make some unreasonable requests, such as warming the bed. 7 days to hand over 7 portions of blood essence of beasts above the 5th layer of the spiritual sea realm. On average, killing 1/5 layer spiritual sea realm beast per day would be enough. This was not difficult for her. After 7 days, we'll meet here. If you come, I'll take it that you betrayed me, and I'll directly activate the soul-splitting formation, Lu Ming said coldly. Then, his figure flashed, and he left. Lu Ming, Lu Ming. Wang Haoxian's eyes flashed with shocking killing intent. Her body trembled violently, and her beautiful face was about to twist. She hated, she was furious. After a while, she took a deep breath and calmed herself down. She planned to listen to Lu Ming's instructions for the time being. In the future, she would find a chance to get the method to break the formation from Lu Ming, and then kill Lu Ming. But first, she had to endure the humiliation. Thinking of this, she completely calmed down. Her figure flashed, and she also left to hunt beasts. Lu Ming naturally did not know what Wang Haoxian was thinking. Even if he knew, he would not care. He was confident that after a while, he would surpass Wang Haoxian in terms of battle strength. Returning to Supreme Nine Yang's cave, Supreme Nine Yang was still sitting cross-legged under the soul consolidating tree. It seemed like it would take some time. Lu Ming took out a pile of origin stones and sat cross-legged. The 9 dragons' bloodline appeared, and he devoured 100 origin stones in one go. Then, he used all his strength to refine and increase his true origin. After refining 100 origin stones, another 100 origin stones. Rumble. In the spiritual sea, the waves roared, overturning rivers and seas. When Lu Ming refined 800 origin stones, the area of the spiritual sea doubled again. Lu Ming's cultivation entered the 3rd layer of the spiritual sea realm. Then, he continued to refine the origin stone. After another 4 days, Lu Ming's cultivation rose to the peak of the 3rd layer of the spiritual ocean tier. At the peak of the third layer of the spiritual sea realm, Lu Ming had reached a bottleneck. If he wanted to advance further, he would have to train both the earth concept and the thunder concept to the lower tier of the second level before he could continue to advance. 7 days have passed. Let's go and see if Wang Haoxian has brought back the blood essence. With a thought, Lu Ming left the cave and went to the place where he and Wang Haoxian had agreed to meet last time. From afar, Wang Haoxian could be seen sitting cross-legged. Her entire body was surrounded by a layer of fire, making her look like a goddess of fire. To be honest, Wang Haoxian, who was cultivating with her eyes closed and had no killing intent, was still very beautiful. Flames danced around her, giving her a mesmerizing feeling. When Lu Ming arrived, Wang Haoxian opened her eyes. "Have you obtained the blood essence of the demonic beasts?" Lu Ming asked with a smile. "Here." Wang Haoxian waved her hand, and 7 jade bottles flew towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming picked up a jade bottle and looked inside. There were 9 drops of blood essence that looked like blood-red pearls. It was the blood essence of the demonic beasts. If the blood essence of demonic beasts above the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier was taken out and sealed in a jade bottle, it could be kept for a month without dissipating. The more powerful the being, the stronger the energy and activity of the blood essence, and the longer it could be kept. After throwing the blood essence to Lu Ming, Wang Haoxian turned and left. "Stop!" Lu Ming shouted coldly. Wang Haoxian's body trembled. She turned around and looked at Lu Ming, saying, "What do you want now? Don't forget your identity. You are now my maid." "Is this how a maid treats her master?" Lu Ming narrowed his eyes and said with a smile. Wang Haoxian gritted her teeth, glaring at Lu Ming with hatred. "What do you want?" Wang Haoxian gritted her teeth. "A maid should have the attitude of a maid. Otherwise, I will make you warm my bed." Lu Ming's lips curled into an evil smile. "Don't even think about it." Wang Haoxian's face was red with anger. Her eyes widened, and after a while, she finally gave in. She bowed slightly, gnashing her teeth, and said, Young Master Lu Ming, I will take my leave." Saying this seemed to take all of Wang Haoxian's strength. She was panting slightly. "Again, if you are not sincere enough, and you are gnashing your teeth like this, people who don't know will think that you want to eat me, and think that there is some deep hatred between us. Say it properly, and remember, your attitude must be sincere. You must treat me as a young master from the bottom of your heart, a young master who is respected by you. Do you understand?" Lu Ming started giving instructions. Wang Haoxian almost spat out blood. She roared in her heart, "There is a deep hatred between us, okay? And you want to be sincere? How?" If she was not controlled by the formation, she would chop Lu Ming into pieces. How could she be sincere? "Young Master Lu Ming, I will take my leave." Wang Haoxian took a deep breath, and then spoke. Her voice was softer than before. "Forget it, just SOSO. Practice more in the future. Go." Lu Ming waved his hand discontentedly. This made Wang Haoxian's chest rise and fall again. She kept telling herself in her heart, "Endure, you must endure. Only by enduring can you have a chance to take revenge on Lu Ming later." After Wang Haoxian left, Lu Ming also returned to the cave residence. Then, he opened the 7 jade bottles one by one. Of the 7 blood essences, 5 were from the 5th layer of the spiritual sea tier, and 2 were from the 6th layer of the spiritual sea tier. The 9 dragons' bloodline opened its mouth, swallowed all the blood essences, and began to refine them. Now, Lu Ming used all the blood essences to upgrade the 9 dragons' bloodline. First, he would upgrade the 9 dragons' bloodline to the divine grade. Then, he would have 2 divine grade bloodlines, and his battle strength would be even stronger. In less than a day, all the blood essences were refined. Obviously, these blood essences were not enough to upgrade the 9 dragons' bloodline to the divine grade. Senior 9 sons will probably need some time to recover here. Now that Xiao Qing and the Fatty are not in danger, it is most suitable for them to cultivate in the Sky Vault Legacy grounds. "I will cultivate here." Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the ground, thinking about the direction of cultivation. 9 Dragons' Heaven Stomping Steps is not far from the 5th step. There is also the 3 unique skills of the dragon god. I have to find time to integrate the earth concept into it. This way, I will have another way to fight the enemy. Of course, the most important thing is the comprehension of the concept. Also, I can't neglect the Tao of inscription. Thinking of this, Lu Ming's fingers glowed, and the infinite dragon spear appeared in his hand. Senior 9 Sons has a lot of precious metals here. I can refine the infinite dragon spear. With a thought, a piece of metal appeared in his hand. This piece of metal was called Star Moon Iron. On it, there were little star-like patterns, and it was very beautiful. Blue spiritual fire appeared in Lu Ming's hand, and it wrapped around the Star Moon Iron and began to burn it. Soon, the Star Moon Iron softened, and finally turned into a pool of liquid that wrapped around the infinite dragon spear. Lu Ming waved his fingers, and lines of inscriptions bloomed in the air, flying toward the infinite dragon spear. Chapter 8:13. The infinite dragon spear had an infinite amount of black metal. It could continuously fuse with other precious metals to upgrade the infinite dragon spear's grade. Although Supreme 9 Yang storage ring contained higher grade spiritual weapons, such as LV7 and even LV8, there was no lack of spear-type spiritual weapons. However, although those spiritual weapons were of high quality, they had no potential and their grades were fixed. The infinite dragon spear was Lu Ming's natal spiritual weapon and had unlimited potential. Naturally, Lu Ming chose to use the infinite dragon spear. 3 hours later, the infinite dragon spear let out a buzzing sound and shone brightly. LV6, Supreme Grade. A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. After fusing with a piece of precious star moon metal and adding Lu Ming's inscriptions, the infinite dragon spear was upgraded to LV6 Supreme Grade. In the sky, there seemed to be an inscription power descending and fusing with Lu Ming's spiritual fire, causing his spiritual fire to slowly rise. This was the reward given to him by the law of inscription after refining a LV6 Supreme Grade spiritual weapon. Lu Ming was not satisfied with the LV6 Supreme Grade spiritual weapon. He took out another piece of precious metal and began to refine it. A day later, the infinite dragon spear vibrated again and reached LV6 Supreme Grade. With Lu Ming's current inscription skills and good materials, it was not difficult for him to refine a LV6 Supreme Grade spiritual weapon. Next, Lu Ming wanted to refine the infinite dragon spear to LV7, which was a little difficult. Lu Ming took out a few pieces of precious metal. Blue spiritual fire spread out and Lu Ming began to refine it. This time, it took a total of 3 days. Buzz. The infinite dragon spear vibrated continuously and spear light shot up to the sky. Lu Ming quickly waved his hand and brought the infinite dragon spear into the Temple of Paragon so as not to disturb Supreme 9 Yang. The infinity dragon spear emitted a brilliant glow as a powerful aura spread out from it. LV7, Superior LV7. Lu Ming's eyes brightened, revealing a look of great joy. Success. Lu Ming had raised the infinite dragon spear to the upper grade of the 7th rank. If others knew that he had forged a 7th rank spirit weapon, they would probably be scared to death. If an inscription master was able to create a peak or peerless spirit weapon of their own level, it would already be very impressive. To create a spirit weapon of a higher level was too difficult. Normal true inscription masters would not be able to do it. Furthermore, the higher the grade of the spirit weapon, the harder it was to refine it. And now, Lu Ming had only lit up one of his level 6 blue spirit lamps. If he could light up a few more, it wouldn't be impossible for him to refine a level 7 spirit lamp, or even a level 7 spirit lamp. Strands of inscription energy descended from the unseen world. Lu Ming's spirit flame kept growing stronger. Suddenly, the light of the second spirit lamp flashed, and a blue flame ignited. Lu Ming had lit up the second blue spirit lamp, and his spirit power was even stronger. Lu Ming revealed a look of joy. Holding the long spear in his hand, he waved it casually. The space trembled, and a faint dragon roar could be heard. Then, Lu Ming put away the infinite dragon spear. Hey! The enlightenment ancient tree is changing. Suddenly, Lu Ming's figure moved and appeared on another platform. The enlightenment ancient tree was placed here. At this time, The Enlightenment ancient tree was sparkling and there were circles of light spreading out. A mysterious aura floated out. On the pitch-black branch, there was a green leaf. It was dark green and crystal clear. There were mysterious patterns on it, as if it contained the truth of the universe. And next to this dark green leaf, a second green leaf appeared. More than 10 days ago, Lu Ming watered the mother spring on the mysterious yellow silicon soil. Sure enough, the mother spring was worthy of being called a rare treasure in the world. It successfully made the Enlightenment ancient tree grow a second leaf. Lu Ming closed his eyes and carefully comprehended. After a while, he opened his eyes, and there was a look of surprise in his eyes. The Enlightenment ancient tree's second leaf had indeed greatly increased Lu Ming's comprehension speed. In the past, it was equivalent to 10 times the normal state. Now, it was 20 times. Yes, under the Enlightenment ancient tree, Lu Ming's state of comprehension was 20 times the normal state. Lu Ming was naturally ecstatic. In this way, his cultivation speed could be increased again. The Enlightenment ancient tree was indeed a rare treasure in the world. In ancient times, only the strongest could possess it. Immediately, Lu Ming sat cross-legged and quietly comprehended the will of heaven and earth. Soon, 7 days passed. Lu Ming went out and collected the blood essence of the demonic beasts that Wang Haoxian had sent. This time, there were 4 blood essences of demonic beasts in the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm and 3 blood essences of demonic beasts in the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. After refining, the 9 dragons' bloodline still did not advance. Just like this, every 7 days, Lu Ming refined the blood essence. The rest of the time was spent on cultivation. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed since Lu Ming had controlled Wang Haoxian. During this time, Lu Ming had made great progress in all aspects, especially in the will of heaven and earth and the thunder will, which had reached the lower 2nd level. The earth will was also close. At this time, the 9 dragons' bloodline had finally reached its limit and was about to advance. This was the 4th time that Lu Ming had refined the blood essence of the demonic beasts that Wang Haoxian had sent. In the Temple of Paragon. Roar. The 9 dragons' bloodline roared to the sky. Its body twisted and turned in the air. Its body was filled with light. As the 9 holes bloodline roared, its body began to grow longer and thicker. The scales on its body became brighter and more crystal clear. A claw extended from the 9 dragons' bloodline's abdomen. The 5th claw. 5 claws, a true dragon. After a while, a 1,000-meter-long true dragon with 5 claws under its abdomen appeared above Lu Ming's head. There was a golden chakra on the true dragon's body, shining with dazzling light. The 9 dragons' bloodline had finally advanced to the divine bloodline and transformed into a true dragon's body. Back. The 9 dragons' bloodline roared, its aura soaring to the sky. At this moment, in the depths of the 9 dragons' city, where the 3 dragon veins converged, there was a palace floating in the air. It seemed to be in the depths of the void. It could be seen, but could not be approached. In the deepest part of the palace, there was a figure sitting cross-legged in the void. This was a middle-aged man around 50 years old. He wore a black battle robe and was tall and sturdy. His eyes were closed as he sat there quietly. However, from his body, there seemed to be a boundless majesty. It was as if this person was a peerless overlord, a peerless emperor who could dominate the universe and control countless lives. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. At this moment, the entire world lit up. The surrounding space was instantly annihilated as if it could not withstand the immense pressure and turned into a pitch-black chaotic space. The 9 dragons' bloodline has finally appeared. It seems to have evolved to the divine bloodline. Ju Yang, you've really put in a lot of effort to use a sealing technique to isolate the aura of the 9 dragons' blood essence. Unfortunately, you've underestimated your master. Master's methods are not something you can pry into. Even if there's a seal, I have my own detection technique. The 9 dragons' blood essence seems to be in 9 dragons' city. There's a treasure blocking it. The middle-aged man muttered to himself. After a while, he frowned slightly. Chapter 8:14. Ju Yang, you must have found a young genius to be your successor, right? Do you want to take revenge on me? Hee hee, how naive. Since you are in Nine Dragon City, I will find you. Let's leave this matter to the ancient families, the middle-aged man whispered. Then, his lips moved and he seemed to have said something. Soon, 6 middle-aged men walked in. Each and every one of these 6 middle-aged men possessed imposing auras. From a single glance, one could tell that they were people of high status and possessed the aura of an overlord. However, the 6 middle-aged men were extremely respectful before the black-clothed man. Greetings, Your Majesty. The 6 middle-aged men bowed and greeted him. Obviously, the middle-aged man in black was the ruler of Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, one of the overlords of Eastern Wilderness, Martial Emperor Die. The 6 middle-aged men who came later were the family heads of the 6 ancient families. May I know why Your Majesty has summoned the 6 of us? The family head of the Dongfang family bowed and asked. During this period of time, pay close attention to the geniuses in Nine Dragon City, especially those who have awakened the true dragon bloodline. If there are any, bring them here. Martial Emperor Die instructed. Yes. The 6 family heads bowed and accepted the order. Go. After Martial Emperor Die instructed, he closed his eyes again. The patriarchs of the 6 ancient families bowed and left. Roar. The 9 dragon bloodline roared and its aura was shocking. Whoosh. Lu Ming turned into a ray of light and entered the 9 dragon bloodline, merging with it. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to have turned into a true dragon and had the power to destroy the world. After a while, the 9 dragon bloodline shrank and turned into Lu Ming's appearance. I wonder if the 9 dragon bloodline has any other functions after becoming a divine bloodline? The devouring power should be stronger, right? I should find a chance to try it. Lu Ming thought excitedly as he sensed it carefully. All of a sudden, he felt a strange power in the 9 dragons bloodline at his spine. This power was extremely terrifying and Lu Ming seemed to be able to draw out this power at any time. What kind of power is this? I should go out and try it. Lu Ming left the Supreme Divine Palace and appeared on a mountain peak thousands of miles away. With a thought, Lu Ming drew out the power of the 9 dragons bloodline. This power was similar to true origin, but it was completely different. Lu Ming felt that the essence of this power was thousands of miles stronger than true essence. Roar. As soon as this energy was drawn out, it emitted an astonishing dragon roar. Then, this energy fused into Lu Ming's body. At this moment, Lu Ming's muscles swelled up and scales appeared on his skin. Dragon scales, these were dragon scales. At this moment, Lu Ming felt as if his entire body was filled with boundless power. Boom. Lu Ming punched out. Everywhere his fist passed, the air turned into liquid and then evaporated. Space was like paper, folding in front of his fist. A terrifying fist energy exploded out. Boom. Boom. Wherever the fist energy passed, 7 huge mountains were pierced by the fist energy and exploded. Many demonic beasts roared crazily and were sent flying far away. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. The power of this punch was terrifying. This was just a casual punch from Lu Ming. What kind of power is this? It's too strong. Lu Ming was shocked and excited at the same time. Dragon power, the power of a true dragon. Kid, this is the power of a true dragon, Dandan shouted on Lin Fan's shoulder. Dragon power? Lu Ming was puzzled. Dragon power is a power that only a true dragon can control. It's extremely powerful and is many times stronger than true origin. Kid, you can control dragon power? Dandan exclaimed. I can't control it. It's just a force born from the bloodline. Lu Ming arrived. While speaking, Lu Ming felt that the dragon power in his body was slowly weakening. Soon, the dragon power seemed to be exhausted. The dragon scales on Lu Ming's skin also disappeared. Why is it gone? Lu Ming was shocked. It couldn't be that it was exhausted just like that, right? Brat, don't worry. Once it's used up, it will recover. Even if it's just one strand, you've already made a fortune. The power of the dragon force is not something that Jin Yuan can compare to. You've seen the power just now. Dandan said. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Could this be the benefit of the 9 dragons bloodline being promoted to God realm? A dragon power was condensed in the bloodline. After Lu Ming unleashed it, his battle strength would increase greatly. This could be Lu Ming's trump card. I remember now. Kid, the bloodline you awakened, it can't be the 9 dragons bloodline, right? Dandan suddenly shouted, staring at Lu Ming. Yes, what's wrong? Lu Ming said. Haha, it's really the 9 dragons bloodline. How did you awaken it? Using the 9 dragons blood essence. Dandan asked again. Didn't you already know this? Lu Ming was speechless. Dandan was by his side every day. Dandan already knew his secret. I just thought it was familiar before. Now, I finally remember. 9 dragons, so it's that kid 9 dragons. It seems that it has died in battle. Dandan suddenly sighed. That kid 9 dragons? Lu Ming was a little speechless. However, he was used to Dandan's bragging tone. He asked curiously, Dandan, do you know 9 dragons? Nonsense, of course I know them. I'm the leader of the top 10 beasts. 9 dragons is also one of the top 10 beasts. I was the one who guided him back then. His devouring talent could be maximized. Haven't you mastered it too? Dandan clasped his hands behind his back and spoke like an old man. 9 dragons is also one of the top 10 beasts. Then what are the top 10 beasts? Lu Ming was very curious. He had heard Dandan talk about the top 10 beasts every day. He had long wanted to know. Kid, the top 10 beasts are existences that surpass the divine beasts. Each of them is unique and powerful. With your current cultivation, it's useless to know. I'll tell you later, Dandan said proudly. Forget it, I'll find out myself in the future, Lu Ming said. Then, he returned to the cave and continued to cultivate. After the 9 dragons bloodline was promoted to the divine rank, its devouring power had increased by dozens of times. The refining of blood essence was extremely fast. Under the enlightenment ancient tree, Lu Ming's cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. Supreme 9 Yang was also under the soul consolidating tree and did not wake up. Time flew by quickly. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, soon, Lu Ming came to the wild beasts forest. 5 months had passed. In these 5 months, Lu Ming had improved rapidly in all aspects. First, he lit 2 more Path of Inscription. Just a few days ago, Lu Ming had lit a total of 4 blue spirit lamps. As for the 9 dragons heaven stomping steps, Lu Ming had successfully cultivated to the 5th step and was moving towards the 6th step. Chapter 8:15. Other than the 9 dragons heaven stomping steps, Lu Ming also successfully integrated the concept of earth into the 3 ultimate skills of the dragon god, making it a demigod martial skill. Lu Ming cultivated it to the highest level. With this, Lu Ming undoubtedly had many more tricks up his sleeves. As for the concept of heaven and earth, his progress was also very fast. Wind, fire, and thunder, the 3 concepts of heaven and earth had all reached the greater success of level 2. Only the concept of earth was stuck at the peak of level 2 initial success for several months. The concept of earth was very difficult to cultivate, and there were many bottlenecks. If he wanted to improve it, it would be much slower than the 9 common concepts. Most importantly, Lu Ming had to multitask. If he only cultivated 1 concept of earth, his speed would definitely be much faster. As the concept increased, his cultivation would naturally increase quickly as well. Now, Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. Compared to 5 months ago, it had increased by 3 levels. Their overall combat strength was much stronger than it was 5 months ago. Such a huge improvement was inseparable from the enlightenment ancient tree. Of course, there was also the huge amount of resources left behind by Supreme 9 Suns. Lu Ming turned around and looked in the direction of Supreme 9 Suns. Supreme 9 Suns was still sitting cross-legged under the soul consolidating tree. It had already been 5 months, and he had not moved at all. However, Supreme 9 Suns' remnant soul was much more condensed than 5 months ago, giving off a heavy feeling. The soul consolidating fruits on the 2 soul consolidating trees had long disappeared. Not only that, even the 2 soul consolidating trees had completely withered, turning into dead branches. Lu Ming had a feeling that Supreme Nine Suns would wake up soon. Sure. Lu Ming's figure moved, and he left the cave. It was time to collect the blood essence once every 7 days. Not long after, he saw a figure standing in the air, facing the wind. It was Wang Haoxian. Seeing Lu Ming come, Wang Haoxian waved his hand and threw 7 jade bottles to Lu Ming. After Lu Ming caught them, he threw the 7 empty jade bottles to Wang Haoxian. What do you want so much blood essence for? Are you refining pills? Wang Haoxian asked curiously. After 5 months, Wang Haoxian's state of mind had gradually calmed down. It seemed that she had gotten used to coming here every 7 days to hand over 7 sets of blood essence to meet Lu Ming. Over the past 5 months, Wang Haoxian had not asked Wang Haoxian's hands blood essence. How about a battle with me? Lu Ming's mouth suddenly spoke. After 5 months of tough cultivation, Lu Ming wanted to test the results of his cultivation. Wang Haoxian's hands. Wang Yi heavens God. Wang. Wang's fingers hands heavens. Hands hand, eyes hands. Wang Haoxian's eyes flashed. Eyes I hand mice hands my there's hands God's. God's mice. God. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Fine. You asked for it. Wang Haoxian's eyes turned cold. Her body emitted blazing flames. She strode forward and threw a punch. The blazing fist radiance blasted toward Lu Ming. The infinite dragon spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. He waved it casually and shattered the fist radiance. No need to test me. Use your full strength. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Wang Haoxian furrowed her brows slightly. Her punch just now had 80% of her strength from 5 months ago. If it had been 5 months ago, Lu Ming would definitely have been sent flying. But now, Lu Ming had defeated her fist gleam effortlessly. It seemed that Lu Ming had made great progress in the past 5 months. Boom. The next moment, Wang Haoxian's aura burst out. Instantly, it reached the peak of the 5th layer of the spiritual sea realm. But it was not the limit. The early stage of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm, the middle stage of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm, it kept increasing until it reached the peak of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm. Obviously, Wang Haoxian's cultivation had also made great progress in the past few months. That was for sure. It was impossible that Lu Ming was the only one who was improving. Others were also improving all the time. Boom. Wang Haoxian stepped forward and threw a punch at Lu Ming. The power of this punch was even more terrifying. That's right. Lu Ming laughed. His aura burst out. His long spear was like a dragon. With a thrust, a 4-colored dragon flew out and pounced forward. With a boom, Wang Haoxian's fist radiance was shattered. Although the 4-colored dragon became smaller, it still pounced forward. How can he be so strong? Wang Haoxian's expression changed. She waved her fists again and 2 fist radiances were thrown out. 1 fist radiance and the 4-colored dragon were shattered at the same time, while the other one blasted toward Lu Ming. Whoosh! The spear radiance burst out. Lu Ming shattered Wang Haoxian's fist radiance with 1 spear and strode forward. The spear radiance was like a mountain, smashing toward Wang Haoxian. Wang Haoxian roared. Flames burned as she tried her best to fight with Lu Ming. But the more they fought, the more shocked Wang Haoxian was. She was actually suppressed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cultivation was at the peak of the 5th layer of the spiritual sea realm, 1 level lower than her, but he was still suppressing her. What was surprising was that Lu Ming did not seem to be using bloodline martial arts. That was even more surprising. In fact, this was normal. In the past 5 months, Lu Ming's 4 types of mentalities had all broken through and improved. Wang Haoxian's mentalities had reached the 2nd level of perfection 5 months ago. Although it had improved in the past month, it was still at the 2nd level of perfection. So, in terms of mentalities, Lu Ming's improvement was much greater than hers. That was why Lu Ming could surpass 1 level and easily suppress her. No, I can't be defeated by him, Wang Haoxian roared in her heart. Above her head, purple flames appeared. Her body melted into the purple flames. The purple flames twisted and turned into a purple firebird, pouncing toward Lu Ming. Bloodline fusion. I've been waiting for this move. Lu Ming smiled. The infinite dragon spear disappeared, and a palm struck toward Wang Haoxian. Peng. As the palm struck, the space shook. The fire bird screamed and flew back, turning back into Wang Haoxian's figure. Her face was pale, and blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Her eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. Lu Ming did not even use bloodline fusion. He defeated her bloodline fusion with one move and beat her back to her original form. How could it be so terrifying? She felt that the power of Lu Ming's palm strike seemed to be able to suppress the heaven and earth, making her feel that she could not resist. What followed was depression and dejection. 5 months. It had only been 5 months. 5 months ago, Lu Ming was no match for her at all. She chased him all over the place and he was almost killed by her. 5 months later, even though her cultivation level had increased by 1 level, she was still easily defeated by Lu Ming in 1 move. It was hard for her to accept. Would she still have any hope of revenge against Lu Ming in the future? Her hope was getting slimmer and slimmer. Wang Haoxian felt a sense of helplessness. This feeling of helplessness only came when she faced those monsters at the top of the list of top 1,000 talents. Could it be that Lu Ming could compete with those perverts? The hell-suppressing heaven skill is equivalent to an upper demigod martial technique. It's really powerful. Chapter 8:16. In the past 5 months, Lu Ming had devoured more than 150 portions of blood essence from beasts above the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean realm. It was impossible for his bloodline to not improve. The suppressing prison monument bloodline and the 9 dragons bloodline both improved by 1 level. Both bloodlines reached the 2nd level of the divine rank. When the suppressing prison monument bloodline reached the 2nd level of the divine rank, the power of the suppressing prison celestial skill skyrocketed again, reaching the power of an upper-grade half-god martial technique. However, it should be equivalent to the 1st level of an upper-grade half-god martial technique. Even so, its power was several times stronger than the highest level of a low-grade half-god martial technique. An upper-grade half-god martial technique could only be mastered by spirit embryo realm experts. Only then could they unleash its full power. Its power was terrifyingly strong. When the 9 dragons bloodline reached the 2nd level of the divine rank, Lu Ming discovered that there was actually an additional dragon power. There were 2 dragon powers in the bloodline. This made Lu Ming look forward to the bloodline's upgrade even more. However, it was even more difficult to upgrade the bloodline at the divine rank. However, the 3rd bloodline had not awakened yet. It was as if it was still brewing and accumulating. This made Lu Ming feel rather helpless. He could only wait. Let's go. Follow me to hunt beast. Lu Ming instructed Wang Haoxian. In the past 5 months, Lu Ming almost did not engage in any battles. He spent almost all of his time cultivating. Cultivating blindly was not enough. There had to be a great battle. Only by combining the 2 could it be the path of martial cultivation. Lu Ming planned to kill beasts in the Wild Beast mountain range while obtaining blood essence. When Supreme 9 Suns woke up, he would head to the Ocean Cloud sect. Back then, he had made an appointment with Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin to meet at the Ocean Cloud sect half a year later. Wang Haoxian bit her lips and followed behind Lu Ming. No one knew what she was thinking. Lu Ming was too lazy to care. He and Wang Haoxian went deep into the Wild Beast mountain range to search for high-level beasts. Lu Ming was too lazy to hunt beasts in the 5th and 6th layer of the spiritual ocean realm. Their blood essence was too weak for Lu Ming. He had to hunt beasts in the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean realm at least. Soon, the 2 were 100,000 miles deep. Roar. A giant black bear, 10 meters tall, with blood-red eyes, exuded a terrifying and powerful aura. This was a demonic beast at the peak of the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, charging towards Lu Ming fearlessly. A spear light materialized in his hand. With a wave of his hand, the spear light pierced through the void and pierced through the head of the giant bear. Lu Ming could casually kill a normal peak of the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. Devouring power erupted from his palm, devouring the blood essence of the giant bear and refining it. The refining power of the 9 dragons' bloodline of the divine realm was incomparably terrifying. In just a few minutes, the giant bear's blood essence was completely refined. The two continued to go deeper, and before long, an 8th layer spiritual ocean tier beast appeared, but was still easily killed by Lu Ming. The two of them advanced, and in a day's time, there were as many as 10 beasts in the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier and above that died at Lu Ming's hands. Lu Ming used it to upgrade the prison-suppressing Steely's bloodline, but it was like throwing a stone into the ocean. It didn't cause any ripples. Boom. Boom. Suddenly, a rumbling sound came from ahead. Sword Chi soared into the sky, and there were roars of demonic beasts. Someone was fighting with demonic beasts. In the Wild Beast mountain range, there were often people who entered to hunt demonic beasts, obtain materials, and search for some spirit herbs. Lu Ming didn't mind, bypassing that place and continuing forward. Soon, they advanced another 10,000 miles. Yee! That seems to be a bloodstain flower. Suddenly, several spirit flowers appeared in front of them. The spirit flowers were dark red, emitting a rich medicinal fragrance. Bloodstain flower was a 6th level high-grade spirit herb. Although Lu Ming didn't care much about it now, since he saw it, he naturally wouldn't miss it. Lu Ming was just about to walk over when a buzzing sound suddenly sounded in the sky. A group of dark red flying insects flew towards Lu Ming and the others. There were too many of these dark red flying insects, at least 10,000 of them. Bloodstain bugs equivalent to peak king tier. Lu Ming's mind moved, recognizing these flying insects. Who? Lu Ming didn't make a move, but Wang Haoxian did. She waved her hand, and purple flames spread out, enveloping the sky. In the next moment, the 10,000 bloodstain bugs were burned to ashes. Lu Ming smiled and stepped forward. Suddenly, shua, shua. The sound of air being torn apart rang out, and 7 or 8 figures flew over at extreme speed. Little guy, those bloodstain flowers are ours. An aged voice sounded, and 8 figures appeared, standing above Lu Ming and the others. A vast aura spread out. These 8 people were undoubtedly experts. 5 at the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, and 3 at the 8th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. No wonder they dared to go hundreds of thousands of miles deep into the Wild Beast mountain range. Of the 8 people, there were white-haired old men and middle-aged men. Get lost. A cold voice came from Lu Ming's mouth. Little guy, what did you say? You're so young, and you don't know how to respect your elders? Looks like I'll have to teach you a lesson on behalf of your elders. A short and fat old man's face revealed anger, and he stared at Lu Ming with an unfriendly gaze. An enormous aura spread out, and the aura of the peak of the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier pressed down on Lu Ming. If you don't get lost, I'll kill him. Lu Ming didn't even look at the short and fat old man, and stepped toward the bloodstain flowers. These words were directed at Wang Haoxian. You're courting death. The short and fat old man shouted angrily, and a battle saber appeared in his hand. His figure flashed, and he slashed at Lu Ming. But in the next moment, a figure appeared in front of the old man, and a blazing aura spread out as a fist punched out. Pang! The short and fat old man was like a firework, instantly turning into flames and exploding, not even leaving behind ashes. Raging Flames Sky-Burning Art, the Wang family's Raging Flames Sky-Burning Art. So young, but so powerful. Could she be the Wang family's god-tier genius, Wang Haoxian? It should be her. The other 7 people cried out involuntarily. They came from a big force in 9 Dragons City, but that force was far inferior to the Wang family. Get lost, or die. Wang Haoxian shouted coldly. Deep fear flashed in the eyes of the 7 people. Although their cultivation was high, they still had deep respect for such a god-tier genius. The combat power of a god-tier genius was too strong, and it couldn't be measured by cultivation at all. But what shocked them the most was that Wang Haoxian seemed to be taking orders from that young man. Just now, that young man completely ordered Wang Haoxian in a commanding tone. Who was that young man? It was unbelievable that he could order a god-tier genius like Wang Haoxian. They looked at Lu Ming, and their eyes flashed with respect. Haha, that was a misunderstanding. Let's go, we'll go immediately. The other 7 people laughed and flew forward quickly, going deep into the wild beast forest. Lu Ming didn't bother to pay attention to them, and he casually picked the bloodstained flowers. Then, he continued to look for beasts to kill. In the blink of an eye, half a day passed. Roar! Roar! Suddenly, a few beasts' roars came from the front, shaking heaven and earth. Chapter 8:17. These were 2 elders. Their bodies were covered in blood, and their faces were filled with terror as they fled. Behind them, there were several huge beasts chasing after them. The aura of those beasts was extremely terrifying, and they were beasts at the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. At this moment, the 2 old men also saw Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian. Their eyes lit up, and they rushed towards Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian, shouting, "Save us, save us." Lu Ming frowned. These 2 old guys obviously wanted to draw trouble onto them. How could Lu Ming let them do as they wished? "Retreat," Lu Ming said softly, and retreated with Wang Haoxian. "Save us." The 2 old men chased after Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian, and the few powerful beasts behind continued to chase after the 2 old men. "You two, you can't leave us in the lurch," the 2 old men shouted. "What did you take from those beasts? Otherwise, why would they chase after you so desperately?" Lu Ming snorted coldly. The 2 old men's faces changed, and one of them said, "We didn't take anything. We just went in deep and encountered these beasts chasing after us crazily. Our other companions were all killed by them, and only the 2 of us are left." The 2 old men spoke as they flew towards them. "Give me your storage rings, and I'll save you." Lu Ming sneered. These 2 old fellows must have taken something from those monstrous beasts. Otherwise, those monstrous beasts wouldn't be chasing them non-stop. You're robbing us," the 2 old men said. "If you don't give it to me, then scram. If you keep pestering me, I'll make a move," Lu Ming said. A cold look flashed in the 2 old men's eyes. Without saying a word, they kept pestering Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian, flying towards Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian. Since Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian didn't make a move, then they would drag them in. Roar! A huge black wolf roared furiously and charged over at the fastest speed. This giant wolf had battle prowess at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. With a swipe of its claw, it enveloped the old man, Lu Ming, and the others. The 2 old men screamed and ran for their lives. Boom! Wang Haoxian took a step forward and blasted out a blazing fist aura, which collided with the wolf claw. The giant wolf howled in anger. A large part of its paw was charred, but Wang Haoxian was also forced to retreat. The giant wolf's eyes were bloodshot. It howled crazily and pounced on the 2 old men without any regard for its life. "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." At this time, Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. The infinite dragon spear appeared and swept out. The spear light expanded and formed a huge spear pillar that swept towards the 2 old men. "You can't." The 2 old men were shocked and used all their strength to block, but with their cultivation at the 8th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, how could they block Lu Ming's attack? They were struck by the spear ray until they spat out large mouthfuls of blood, and their bodies flew towards the giant wolf beast. Roar! The giant wolf demonic beast let out a long howl and swung out its claws. Under the despairing eyes of the 2 old men, the 2 old men were torn apart. Then, the giant wolf beast opened its mouth and swallowed the storage rings of the 2 old men. It glanced at Lu Ming and the others and actually turned to leave. "Want to leave? Stay." How could Lu Ming let them leave? He strode forward and took several steps. Boom! Boom! 5 steps in a row, the power of the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps exploded. The giant wolf beast howled as its huge body was stomped down and crashed into the ground below, creating a crater that was a few thousand meters deep. Roar! At this time, the other 2 beasts also pounced. These 2 beasts were a giant tiger and a giant snake, both of which had battle prowess at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. With a shake of the long spear, 2 rays of spear light shot out and pierced 2 wounds on the bodies of the 2 beasts. Blood flowed out. Roar! The fresh blood made the 2 demonic beasts even crazier as they pounced on Lu Ming. As for the giant wolf, it also started to struggle. It stomped on the ground and the ground rumbled. Amid the flying gravel, the giant wolf dashed into the sky and charged towards Lu Ming. You don't have to do anything, I'll do it. On the side, Wang Haoxian was about to make a move but was stopped by Lu Ming. There were a few opponents that Lu Ming could use to practice. The long spear shook and danced out. Spear light swept through the air and pierced towards the three beasts. The roars of the three demonic beasts were as loud as thunder, causing heaven and earth to tremble. Three types of attacks, flames, ice, and thunder, erupted from their bodies and charged toward Lu Ming. The giant tiger and the giant wolf had sharp claws like knives, and the body of the giant snake was like a steel whip. They had a terrifying attacking power. If one was hit, one's body would be torn apart. Lu Ming used the three absolutes of the dragon god and occasionally used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps to battle the three beasts at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier and faintly had the upper hand. On the side, Wang Haoxian was extremely shocked. Lu Ming obviously hadn't burst out with his strongest battle prowess. He hadn't used any bloodline martial arts and hadn't fused with divine rank bloodline, yet he could suppress the three beasts at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. As for Lu Ming, he was only at the peak of the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. If it were her, unless she fused with divine rank bloodline, she could only suppress one of the beasts. At most, she could fight the three beasts to a draw. Gah! Just as Wang Haoxian's thoughts were flying, a shocking scream sounded out in the sky. A ray of silver light flashed, and in the next moment, it appeared in front of Wang Haoxian like the most terrifying heavenly blade, slashing towards Wang Haoxian's head. Wang Haoxian's pupils contracted rapidly. Flames spread out from his body as he punched out, and a blazing fist ray shot out. Pang! The silver light and the fist ray collided. In an instant, the fist ray dissipated, and the silver light slashed out again. Wang Haoxian's figure retreated rapidly, and at the same time, he punched out twice in succession. The two fist rays were scattered again, but they were slightly blocked. Wang Haoxian had time to prepare. His divine rank bloodline emerged, and Wang Haoxian fused with his bloodline, turning into a purple firebird, and pounced out. Peng! The purple firebird and the silver light collided. In the boom, the purple firebird flew back, and that silver light also stopped. It was a giant silver bird with a wingspan of 50 meters. Its entire body was silver, as if it was made of silver. Silver rock. Wang Haoxian's pupils contracted. The silver rock had the bloodline of the divine beast, the golden-winged rock, and was a descendant. It was extremely powerful, and ordinary beasts couldn't compare to it. Ordinary beasts were like ordinary human martial artists, and descendant beasts with divine beast bloodline were like human geniuses with powerful battle prowess, able to fight across levels. And the higher the concentration of divine beast bloodline, the stronger the talent, and the more powerful it was. This silver rock was also at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. Gah! The silver rock screeched, and pounced at Wang Haoxian again. Wang Haoxian had no choice but to flap his wings to face the enemy. But the silver rock's battle prowess was extremely powerful, much more powerful than the other three beasts combined. With only a few collisions, Wang Haoxian dispersed the flames and turned back into human form, spitting out blood. Shua! The silver rock turned into a silver lightning, and its wings were like heavenly blades, slashing at Wang Haoxian. Wang Haoxian's eyes were filled with despair. She couldn't dodge anymore. Pang! The next moment, a figure appeared in front of her, and with a palm strike, the silver rock was sent flying. Chapter 8:18. The one who appeared in front of Wang Haoxian was naturally Lu Ming. However, at this moment, Lu Ming's figure was taller and sturdier than usual. His skin was covered with dense scales, and his aura was extremely violent. Wang Haoxian looked in other directions and found that the three beasts had all been killed by Lu Ming. Gah! The silver rock shouted and pounced towards Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming stepped out and punched out, colliding with the silver rock's wing. Crack! The silver rock's huge body was sent flying, and it let out a mournful cry. One of its wings was deformed, and the bone had been broken by Lu Ming. The silver rock's blood-red eyes actually showed fear. It flapped its wings and turned around to leave. Still want to run? Lu Ming stepped out and caught up with the silver rock, and stepped out. This step contained a violent force, and it hit the silver rock's back. The silver rock let out a mournful cry, and it fell to the ground. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand, and the long spear pierced the silver rock's heart, killing it. Wang Haoxian was shocked. This silver rock with the bloodline of the golden-winged rock was actually killed by Lu Ming with an unstoppable force. This silver rock had almost killed her just now. Lu Ming's combat strength was too terrifying. In this case, it would not be too difficult for Lu Ming to kill her now. Also, what kind of secret technique was that? It was so terrifying. His body was covered with scales like a beast, and his aura was violent and terrifying. Her heart was extremely complicated. In her eyes, Lu Ming was becoming more and more mysterious, more and more unfathomable. Lu Ming flew down and secretly devoured the silver rock's blood essence. A burst of dragon force is indeed powerful, Lu Ming thought in his heart. Just now, he had unleashed a surge of dragon force. Coupled with the hell-suppressing heaven skill, his power had reached a terrifying level. He had killed 3 demon beasts in one go, blocked the silver rock's attack towards Wang Haoxian, and crushed the silver rock to death. I wonder how powerful it would be if 2 streams of dragon force were to burst out at the same time. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. When the 9 dragons' bloodline reached the 2nd level of the divine realm, there would be 2 dragon energies. Let's go. Let's get out of here, Lu Ming said. You don't want these corpses? Wang Haoxian asked. A total of 4 corpses of beasts in the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, especially that silver rock. The materials on its body were extremely valuable. If you want it, take it. Lu Ming waved his hand. With the wealth left behind by Supreme Nine Sons, he didn't care about these demon beasts at all. The spirit stones exchanged for them wouldn't even be enough for him to swallow in a few mouthfuls. Finished speaking, Lu Ming stepped out. Wang Haoxian glanced at Lu Ming a few more times. After confirming that Lu Ming really didn't want it, she put away the 4 corpses. On a mountain peak tens of thousands of miles away, Lu Ming sat cross-legged, refining the blood essence. Wang Haoxian was at the side, guarding Lu Ming. The blood essence of the 4 beasts in the 9th layer of the spiritual ocean tier was extremely rich. However, with the refining power of the 9 dragons' bloodline, it didn't take much time to completely refine it. All the power of the blood essence poured into the hell-suppressing monument bloodline, but the hell-suppressing monument bloodline still didn't advance and was still at the 2nd level of the divine realm. What did those guys steal from those demon beasts? And those demon beasts were a little different from other demon beast. Lu Ming muttered to himself. The demon beasts in the wild beast forest were affected by the baleful aura and killing intent here. They were all incomparably violent and didn't fear death. They had lost their intelligence and wouldn't show any signs of fear. However, after those demon beasts were injured by Lu Ming, they showed fear. And that silver rock's fear was even stronger. It even turned and ran, which was different from other demon beasts, making Lu Ming feel a little strange. Could it be because of its high level? Lu Ming shook his head and didn't care about it for now. He planned to see what the 2 old men took from the demon beasts that caused the demon beasts to chase after them. Lu Ming looked through the 2 storage rings. There were some spirit crystals, some origin stones, medicinal pills, and secret manuals. Lu Ming didn't care much about them. In the end, Lu Ming found a metal box. This metal box wasn't big, but it was placed in a very important position. Lu Ming took it out and opened it. He found a red stone inside. The stone was the size of a fist. When the metal box was opened, the stone emitted a strange aura. Lu Ming immediately felt refreshed. Could this be a soul-gathering stone? Lu Ming's eyes suddenly shone brightly. The soul-gathering stone was a rare treasure of heaven and earth. It had magical effects on the soul. Legend had it that when a person had just died and his soul had yet to disperse, if the soul-gathering stone was used to gather it, it could bring the person back to life. Of course, the legend was exaggerated, but it was very useful to the soul. Those guys must have taken the soul-gathering stone from the demonic beast. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Those demon beasts must have regained some of their intelligence because of the soul-gathering stone. That was why they were chasing after the two old men to take back the soul-gathering stone. This soul-gathering stone must be very useful to Senior Nine Sons. At this thought, Lu Ming was overjoyed. If Supreme Nine Sons' soul was strong enough, he might be able to revive in the future. Let's go back to the cave abode. Lu Ming got up and flew back to the cave abode with Wang Haoxian. A few thousand miles away from the cave abode. I will leave the wild beast forest in a month at most. During this time, you don't have to hunt demon beasts. Cultivate by yourself. When I leave, I will send you a message. Lu Ming instructed Wang Haoxian and flew back to the cave abode alone. Soon, he returned. Supreme Nine Sons was still sitting there cross-legged. However, the soul-gathering tree was completely dried up and had no energy left. Lu Ming guessed that Supreme Nine Sons would wake up soon. As expected, Supreme Nine Sons woke up 3 days later. Senior Nine Sons, how is your recovery? Supreme Nine Sons bowed and asked. My soul power has increased a lot. I won't fall into a deep sleep so easily. Supreme Nine Sons smiled. That's good. Senior Nine Sons, I have a soul-gathering stone here. It might be useful to you. Lu Ming took out the soul-gathering stone and held it in his palm. Supreme Nine Sons' eyes lit up like two small suns. He stretched out his hand and grabbed the soul-gathering stone. After examining it for a while, he laughed out loud. It really is a soul-gathering stone. Haha, good, good. With this soul-gathering stone, my soul power will definitely recover by a large amount. At that time, I will be able to help you. It's good that it will be useful to you. Lu Ming was also very happy. Lu Ming, thank you. I will go back to the Temple of Paragon to refine it. Supreme Nine Sons wrapped the soul-gathering stone and turned into a ray of light. He rushed into Lu Ming's glabella and disappeared. I will cultivate for a while more and then go to the Sea Cloud sect to meet up with Xiao Qing and the others. Chapter 8:19. Next, Lu Ming continued his seclusion. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 days had passed. During this time, Lu Ming continued to use origin stones to break through, raising his cultivation to the peak of the 6th layer of the spiritual sea realm. However, his earth concept was still stuck at the peak of the 2nd level, unable to break through to the 2nd level. At this time, there were less than 10 days left until the half-year agreement. Xiao Qing, Fatty, and the others have already come out of the Sky Vault Legacy grounds. I should also leave. Lu Ming thought. During this time, he and Xian Yanqing had naturally communicated with each other. Otherwise, Xian Yanqing would definitely be worried about Lu Ming's safety and would not be able to cultivate in peace. Knowing that each other was safe, Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin could cultivate in peace in the Sky Vault Legacy grounds. And Lu Ming could also cultivate in peace and wait for Supreme Nine Sons. Lu Ming packed up and left the cave abode. He flew out of the wild beast forest at high speed. Thousands of miles away, on a mountain peak, Wang Haoxian stood against the wind. After seeing Lu Ming, she obediently followed behind Lu Ming and flew out together. Soon, they were out of the wild beast forest. Their bodies suddenly became lighter, and their speed soared. They turned into 2 streaks of light and flew towards the east. Half a day later, they were close to the dragon vein in the east. Lu Ming took Wang Haoxian and flew directly towards the Sea Cloud sect. Lu Ming, how have you been? When Lu Ming arrived at the Sea Cloud sect, Qiao Xian stepped out and said with a smile. Haha, Qiao Xian, congratulations on breaking through to the spiritual sea realm and becoming a spiritual sea realm almighty. Lu Ming glanced at Qiao Xian and saw that she had broken through to the spiritual sea realm. She was now at the peak of the 1st layer of the spiritual sea realm. I have broken through, but you should be even more unfathomable. Qiao Xian smiled. Then she looked at Wang Haoxian behind Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, you have a great beauty by your side. Be careful that Miss Shen Yanqing doesn't get jealous when she sees you. Don't worry, she's just my maid. Why would Xiao Qing be jealous? Lu Ming smiled. These words caused Wang Haoxian, who was standing behind Lu Ming, to grit her teeth and feel hatred in her heart. Servant girl? Qiao Xian was stunned, and then she looked at Wang Haoxian and said, "May I know your name?" Wang Haoxian glanced at Qiao Xian, snorted coldly, and did not answer. How could someone like Qiao Xian enter Wang Haoxian's eyes? "She is Wang Haoxian." Lu Ming answered for her. "So it's Miss Wang." "What? Wang Haoxian? Which Wang Haoxian?" Qiao Xian began to nod, but immediately reacted. Her pupils contracted as she looked at Lu Ming in shock and asked several questions. "It's none other than Wang Haoxian from the ancient Wang family." Lu Ming said casually. "What? She is the god-level genius, Wang Haoxian? She is now your maid?" Qiao Xian's voice was trembling, and her eyes were full of shock. Who would believe that the god-level genius, Wang Haoxian, would become Lu Ming's maid? Qiao Xian thought that she was dreaming. Wang Haoxian gritted her teeth unhappily. She knew that if this matter were to spread, her reputation would be ruined, but what could she do? She was also helpless. "Well, let's not talk about this first. Xiao Qing and Fatty should be here soon," Lu Ming said casually, looking into the distance. Qiao Xian kept taking deep breaths to calm herself down. This matter was simply too shocking. Soon, 2 rainbow lights appeared from the horizon and arrived in front of the Hai Yun sect in a few breaths. As the rainbow light dissipated, Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin's figures appeared. "Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, we meet again. I missed you so much." As soon as Kong Jin appeared, he laughed loudly and was about to pounce on Lu Ming. But the next moment, he looked around and saw Wang Haoxian standing behind Lu Ming. His butt seemed to be pricked by a needle, and his body jumped up like a round ball. "Wang Haoxian, it's you? Why are you here?" Fatty cried out in disbelief, and the aura on his body burst out. Peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. After half a year, Fatty's cultivation reached the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm, only 1 step away from the 6th level. On the other side, Xian Yanqing also burst out the cultivation of the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm, and his eyes revealed killing intent as he stared at Wang Haoxian. "What? Want to fight? You think you are my match?" Wang Haoxian sneered, and a powerful aura burst out, pressing toward Fatty and Xian Yanqing. "What are you doing? Retract your aura." Lu Ming glanced at Wang Haoxian, and snorted coldly. Wang Haoxian snorted, retracted her aura, and stood behind Lu Ming obediently. Seeing this scene, Fatty and Xian Yanqing were dumbfounded. "Don't be nervous. She is now my maid," Lu Ming said with a smile. "Why a maid?" Fatty's mouth opened wider than a lamb leg, and Xian Yanqing's eyes widened. Previously, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing didn't mention that Wang Haoxian had become his maid. The message transmission Jade Talisman couldn't explain clearly, and only said that he was fine, and they didn't need to worry. So now, Xian Yanqing and the others were naturally surprised. "Lu Ming, what's going on?" Xian Yanqing stared and said. "It's like this." Lu Ming explained how he had subdued Wang Haoxian, but skipped the matter of Supreme Nine Suns. He only said that he had found the nether yin grass by accident, and refined it into nether yin powder to control Wang Haoxian. "Is that so? Lu Ming, I admire you so much. You have such a beauty to serve you every day. That's so cool." "Ah, no, I also want to learn the art of inscription. I want to learn it too." Fatty was the first to shout, and his 2 small eyes were sparkling. It was as if he could already see countless women surrounding him and serving him as his servants. "Fatty, don't talk nonsense. I have been cultivating alone during this period." Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, and he quickly explained. "Lu Ming, you too have been in the wild beast forest during this period." A cold voice sounded. Xian Yanqing glanced at Lu Ming and Wang Haoxian unkindly. "Little Qing, although we have been in the wild beast forest, we have been cultivating separately." Lu Ming quickly explained. "Young Master Lu Ming, the bed is ready. Do you need me to warm it for you?" At this moment, Wang Haoxian spoke, which made Lu Ming's eyelids twitch. He turned around and stared at Wang Haoxian fiercely. However, he saw Wang Haoxian's mouth curl up slightly, revealing a trace of complacency. "Nest, this is revenge, a blatant revenge." Lu Ming shouted in his heart. As expected, Xian Yanqing's silver teeth were tightly clenched together, and her eyes widened. She revealed a cold expression and squeezed out a sentence from her mouth. "Pervert, Lu Ming, you really haven't changed." I am innocent." Lu Ming was speechless. What did she mean by haven't changed? When did he become perverted? "Wang Haoxian, don't talk nonsense," Lu Ming scolded. Chapter 820. Nest, Lu Ming, you're too powerful. Wang Haoxian, that violent woman, was actually tamed by you. I admire you. Fatty touched the pot that didn't boil. Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing screamed, and a powerful aura burst out from his body. The sky demon force field enveloped Lu Ming. Lu Ming was shocked. He moved, penetrated the force field, and appeared beside Xian Yanqing. He grabbed Xian Yanqing by the waist. Xian Yanqing's body trembled, and the force field disappeared. "Fool, can't you see that she did it on purpose? I only have you in my heart. How can Wang Haoxian move my heart?" Lu Ming whispered in Xian Yanqing's ear. This action was really intimate. Xian Yanqing looked around and found that the fatty, Qiao Xian, and Wang Haoxian were staring at them with wide eyes. He immediately blushed and struggled. "Lu Ming, you let go of me. If you don't believe me, I won't let go," Lu Ming said with a grin. "I believe you." Xian Yanqing admitted defeat. Lu Ming's arm loosened, and Xian Yanqing flew out, his face red. "Haha, the weather is really good today. Sister Qiao Xian, don't you think so?" Fatty chuckled and turned his head to look elsewhere. Yes. Qiao Xian also turned to look elsewhere. This made Xian Yanqing's face redder, and he glared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yanqing with a grin. After fooling around, they started to chat. Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin also had some fortuitous encounters in the Sky Dome relic. Their cultivation had reached the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm, and their comprehension of concepts was far beyond Lu Ming. However, like Lu Ming, they hadn't awakened their 3rd bloodline yet, as if they were still accumulating power. "But now, you're no match for me," Lu Ming said with a smile. "Humph, don't be so smug. When I awaken my 3rd bloodline, I'll definitely defeat you." Xian Yanqing snorted and pouted. Especially when he looked at Wang Haoxian, his eyes were extremely unfriendly, as if he was still holding a grudge in his heart. "Hey, someone's coming." Lu Ming suddenly looked into the distance. A ray of sword light streaked across the sky at an extremely fast speed. In the blink of an eye, it was right in front of him. When the sword light dissipated, a slender and beautiful woman appeared. Ting Ting. Seeing this woman, the fatty was overjoyed and hurriedly went to greet her. This young woman was actually Ruan Tingting. "Fatty, Lu Ming, Miss Yanqing, I didn't expect you to be here too." Ruan Tingting was overjoyed to see Lu Ming and the others. "Tingting, long time no see." Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing also greeted Ruan Tingting. They hadn't seen each other for half a year, and Ruan Tingting had already gotten over that period of sadness. There was a heroic spirit about her, making her look heroic and cool. "Tingting, aren't you cultivating in the Imperial Heavenly Guard? Why are you here?" the fatty asked. "I came with Brother Long Qianli." Recently, the Heavenly Corpse sect and Sky Demon Valley sent out geniuses to challenge the geniuses of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. On the Dragon Vein in the east, there were geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect blocking the entrance of a sacred ground. They were very arrogant. Brother Long Qianli wanted to come and meet them, so I followed him and headed to the Windsword sect to avenge my parent. Ruan Tingting explained. "The geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect and Sky Demon Valley are all here?" Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others were stunned. "Yes, I heard that the strongest batch of geniuses will come. For example, the geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect who are ranked below 100 on the list of top 1000 talents are here," Ruan Tingting said. "This is normal. Every time before the Battle of Providence, the Overlord forces will send their geniuses to the other party's territory. Their purpose is to test the strength of the other party's geniuses. In the past, the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace also sent their geniuses to the Heavenly Corpse sect. This time, The Heavenly Corpse Sect and Sky Demon Valley are here together, Wang Haoxian said. She was a genius from the Wang clan and knew more about this. Lu Ming nodded. This was understandable. Although the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace and the Heavenly Corpse Sect were archenemies, they didn't kill their envoys. When the other party's geniuses came, the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace could only send their geniuses to meet the enemy. Ting, let's go to the Wind Sword Sect first. After we deal with the Wind Sword Sect, let's go and take a look. Lu Ming said. He also wanted to see how strong the geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse Sect were. All right. Ruan Tingting nodded. Then, the group headed to the Wind Sword Sect. Lu Ming could tell that Ruan Tingting's cultivation had already reached the 3rd level of the spiritual sea realm. It was obvious that Ruan Tingting had been heavily groomed by the Emperor Heavenly Forbidden Guards in the past half a year. Together with the inheritance from the Blue Gold Supremacy, her cultivation had improved so quickly. Lu Ming and the others naturally weren't going to help Ruan Tingting take revenge. Back then, Lu Ming said that he would let Ruan Tingting take revenge herself. They were heading there together in case of any accidents. Soon, the mountain gate of the Wind Sword Sect was in sight. Who's there? This is the Wind Sword Sect. Stop right there. At the mountain gate of the Wind Sword Sect, a disciple guarding the mountain shouted. Don't you recognize me? Ruan Tingting strode forward with a gloomy face. Ruan Tingting, you're Ruan Tingting. The disciple's face changed drastically. I won't kill you. Go and get old man Yi Fa to come out and die. Ruan Tingting said. Just you wait. The disciple turned around and ran away. Clang, clang, clang. After a while, a hurried bell sounded from the Wind Sword Sect. Subsequently, a large number of figures appeared in the depths of the Wind Sword Sect. Yi Fa, Yi Qing, and some elders of the Wind Sword Sect. However, they stopped in the depths of the Wind Sword Sect and didn't walk out. Yi Fa glanced at them solemnly and said, Tingting, what happened back then was our fault. However, because of this, the patriarch of the Wind Sword Sect died in battle. Apart from that, a few experts also died. Qing Er's cultivation was also crippled. Can this matter end here? Shut up. Don't call my name. End. Sure. Wait until I chop off your head, then it will naturally end. Ruan Tingting said coldly with an extremely dense killing intent. During this period of time, she cultivated with all her might in hopes that she could kill her way into the Wind Sword Sect one day and take revenge for her parents. How could this matter end so easily? Yi Fa's eyes were cold and didn't say anything. Since you guys aren't coming out, then I'll kill my way in. After Ruan Tingting said that, a sword chime sounded. A blue sword chi soared into the sky. As the sword chi crisscrossed, Ruan Tingting strode forward. 3rd level of the spiritual sea realm, the faces of Yi Fa and the rest changed drastically in disbelief. Lu Ming looked around and revealed a cold smile. Let's go in and take a look too. Then, they followed closely behind Ruan Tingting and stepped out. Seeing that Lu Ming and the rest had stepped into the territory of the Wind Sword Sect, Yi Fa's eyes were cold. Killing intent flashed as he shouted, Formation, rise. Immediately after, densely packed inscriptions appeared all around the Wind Sword Sect. Streaks of sword chi condensed in the air, and a powerful pressure spread out. This was a killing formation. A level 6 killing formation that was extremely powerful. Chapter 821. Although they didn't know the exact process of that incident, they heard that Ruan Tingting obtained a great opportunity. During this period of time, Yi Fa was deeply worried and hoping that Ruan Tingting would be killed in the cruel competition. At the same time, he was also making preparations. He paid a huge price to hire a level 6 true inscription master to inscribe a powerful killing array in the Wind Sword Sect. As long as Ruan Tingting and Lu Ming stepped into the Wind Sword Sect, he would activate the killing array and kill Lu Ming and the rest. Little bitch, I already gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Even a martial artist at the 6th level of the spiritual ocean realm would die if they stepped into this array. Now, let's see how you're going to kill me. Yi Fa's expression was extremely gloomy as he spoke coldly. Ruan Tingting raised her brows and cursed in her heart. She was too careless. Hehe, sect leader Yi, you think you can kill us with this array? Aren't you too naive? At this moment, Lu Ming chuckled. Mph, it's more than enough to kill you all, Yi Fa said coldly, but a trace of seriousness flashed in his eyes. In fact, the one he was most wary of wasn't Ruan Tingting, but Lu Ming and the rest. In his eyes, Lu Ming and the rest were unfathomable. Half a year ago, in that competition, their Wind Sword sect was completely defeated by Lu Ming and the rest. He built this array mostly to deal with Lu Ming and the rest. You think too highly of your formation. To be honest, I don't know what kind of inscription master you've hired. He's a complete piece of trash. You want to trap us with a trash formation? You're too naive. Lu Ming smiled. With that, he stepped out. With every step Lu Ming took, circles of dense inscriptions would appear on the ground. These inscriptions seemed to be alive and were actually swimming on the ground. Yi Fa's expression changed drastically as he cried out, "You're also an inscription master? Do it, control the array and kill them." In the surroundings, the grand formation shook. In the sky, endless sword chi converged, emitting a terrifying might as it pierced towards Lu Ming's group. Xian Yanqing, Fatty, Ruan Tingting, and even Wang Haoxian remained motionless, as if they did not see the sword chi. They had all witnessed how powerful Lu Ming's Tao of inscription was. However, Lu Ming still had a smile on his face. He stepped forward and whispered, "Break." As his voice fell, the sword chi that was piercing towards them from all directions collapsed just like that. Poochie. The inscriptions around the Wind Sword sect were like fire falling into ice. They sizzled and disappeared without a trace. As Lu Ming's voice fell, the great array was broken. Yi Fa, Yi Qing, and some of the elders of the Wind Sword sect had a terrible change in expression. They turned pale and bloodless. Yi Fa paid a huge price to invite a 6th-level true inscription master and spent half a month to perfect the Great Array. The Great Array that could kill an expert at the 6th level of the Spirit Sea Realm was actually broken by Lu Ming while he was talking and laughing. This was too shocking. Could it be that not only was Lu Ming's martial cultivation so powerful, but even his Tao of inscription was so terrifying? All his plans were useless in an instant. Their hearts turned cold and they felt despair. Ruan Tingting, don't you want revenge? If you want revenge, then do it yourself. Why did you call for help? Since it's like this, I admit defeat today. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Yi Fa called out to Ruan Tingting. Yi Fa, you don't have to use such a low-level method to provoke me. If it was a head-on battle, I wouldn't have interfered. Of course, I would have to interfere with things like arrays. Lu Ming smiled. You wouldn't interfere. You said it, don't go back on your words. Yi Fa called out. Of course I won't. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Ruan Tingting, what about you? Yi Fa was still worried and looked at Ruan Tingting. I'll kill you with my own hands. Ruan Tingting's answer was very obvious. Alright, since it's like this, attack and kill this little bitch. Yi Fa clenched his teeth and said gloomily. Instantly, 2 old men charged out from behind Yi Fa, and a powerful aura spread out. 5th level of the Spirit Sea Realm, Qiao Xian exclaimed. These 2 old men actually had the cultivation of the 5th level of the Spirit Sea Realm. The Wind Sword sect definitely didn't have such experts, and Yi Fa must have paid a huge price to invite them. What Yi Fa said just now was to make Lu Ming and the others not attack, and then let the 2 5th-level Spirit Sea Realm experts kill Ruan Tingting. His intentions were vicious. Lu Ming, Tingting, Qiao Xian looked worriedly at Lu Ming. No worries, Tingting should be able to handle it, Lu Ming said. He had long seen that there were 2 5th-level Spirit Sea Realm experts behind Yi Fa, but he believed in Ruan Tingting. Ruan Tingting received Venerable Lan Jin's inheritance, which was a god-tier cultivation technique. In addition, Ruan Tingting's talent was top-notch. Previously, she was just buried in the Wind Sword sect. Otherwise, she wouldn't have received Venerable Lan Jin's inheritance. With a god-tier cultivation technique as a foundation and having cultivated in the Imperial Skyguard for so long, It wasn't a big problem for her to cross 2 levels to deal with 2 normal 5th-level Spirit Sea Realm experts. Clang! The sword ray whistled, and the blue sword chi soared into the sky as if it could tear everything apart. Sword concept. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Ruan Tingting evolved the sword concept on the foundation of the gold concept. Kill! Ruan Tingting yelled and stepped forward. The sword chi whistled and charged towards the 2 old men. The 2 old men unleashed their full strength, but after a few moves, they started to fall into a disadvantage. Ruan Tingting's blue sword ray was condensed from a god-tier cultivation technique, and in addition to the sword concept, it was simply indestructible. Shio! Shio! The sword chi rampaged and tore apart the 2 old men's attack and defense. Spare us! The 2 old men wanted to beg for mercy, but the sword chi pierced through the void and pierced through their throats. The 2 old men were dead. How could this be? Yi Fa, Yi Qing, and the others' faces were pale and filled with despair. Ruan Tingting's eyes flashed with killing intent as she stepped forward. The sword chi soared into the sky as she walked towards Yi Fa. Tingting, Tingting, spare us. Back then, I treated you well. Yi Fa shouted and started to beg for mercy. Treated me well? Marrying me to the Qing River's 2 freaks in exchange for a fortuitous encounter for your children. That's treating me well? Using my parents to force me and causing them to pass away in the end. That's treating me well? Ruan Tingting sneered. That was just a moment of folly on my part. Tingting, if you kill me, the Wind Sword sect will no longer exist. It will fall apart and be erased from the world. Yi Fa didn't give up and continued to shout. What does the Wind Sword sect no longer exist have to do with me? Ruan Tingting was unmoved as she strode forward. The sword chi whizzed out and pierced forward. A few elders of the Wind Sword sect roared and unleashed their full strength, wanting to block it, but it was all in vain. The sword chi pierced through their foreheads. Run! Run! The other upper echelons of the Sword Division sect ran for their lives. However, the sword chi pierced through the air and killed them one by one. In the end, only Yi Fa and Yi Qing were left. The 2 of them trembled and their faces were pale. They were in despair. Back then, they had forced Ruan Tingting so much and they definitely didn't expect this to happen. Clang! The sword chi flashed and Yi Fa and Yi Qing couldn't block it at all. The 2 figures fell down. Chapter 822. Father, Mother, Tingting has taken revenge for you. Ruan Tingting held her sword and muttered. Tingting, let's go. The upper echelons of the Wind Sword sect are all dead. They will be annexed by other factions soon. From then on, the Wind Sword sect will cease to exist. The fatty walked forward and patted Ruan Tingting's shoulder. He was afraid that Ruan Tingting would sink into hatred and killing, unable to extricate herself. Ruan Tingting took a deep breath and shook her sword. The blood on the sword evaporated. She kept her sword and smiled. Fatty, thank you. She then walked toward Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, Miss Xie, thank you. The reason why she could reach this step and take revenge was all because of Lu Ming and the others. Back when she obtained the inheritance, the Luan family and the Jiang family chased after her. It was Lu Ming and the others who risked their lives to protect her. Otherwise, she wouldn't be where she was today. Since we are friends, there's no need to thank us. Let's go and see the prodigies of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Under the horrified gazes of many Wind Sword sect disciples, they left the Wind Sword sect and flew in the direction of the Dragon Vein. According to Ruan Tingting, the prodigies of the Heavenly Corpse sect had set up a battle platform at the entrance of a cultivation sacred ground in the Dragon Vein to challenge the prodigies of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. It had been a few days, and the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace was at a disadvantage. That was why Long Qianli had brought people here, hoping to stabilize the situation. Before the War of Providence, a few overlord factions would send their prodigies here. Firstly, it could serve as a training ground and test their strength. Secondly, it was also a way to lower the morale of the other party. Lu Ming and the others flew in the direction of the Dragon Vein with Ruan Tingting. Unscathed Valley was a relatively famous cultivation sacred ground in the dragon vein that the Wang family occupied. This place was of a higher level than the 100 Supremes mountain, and there were more prodigies cultivating here. For example, many quasi-god prodigies ranked 300th to 400th would choose to cultivate here. The prodigies of the Heavenly Corpse sect pulled up a stone platform from the ground at the entrance of Unscathed Valley and used it as a battle platform. 8 prodigies of the Heavenly Corpse sect stood on one side of the platform. They were all dressed in black robes and had cold smiles on their faces. Another sovereign of the Heavenly Corpse sect was standing in the middle of the platform, looking around. There were many figures around the fighting ring. They were all geniuses from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. Long Qianli stood at the front. Are there only so few geniuses in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, who else wants to fight? In the middle of the fighting ring, the genius of the Heavenly Corpse sect glanced around proudly. For a moment, no one dared to go up. Just now, that prodigy of the Heavenly Corpse sect had already defeated 3 prodigies in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier in a row, and was extremely powerful. Damn it! This time, the Heavenly Corpse sect must have gone through many rounds of selection. Those selected are all top-notch figures of different levels. Our Heavenly Emperor Divine Palace naturally has such figures as well. It's just that they aren't here at the moment. That's right, we were just caught off guard. The people from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace started discussing fervently, feeling extremely indignant. The geniuses from the Heavenly Corpse sect were naturally the best in their respective realms. They were invincible in their own realms. How could they find so many experts in such a short time? Bloodsword 19, if you're capable, fight me. Long Qianli stepped out and stared at one of the 8 prodigies from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Bloodsword 19 was a god-level prodigy from the Heavenly Corpse sect, ranked 294th. Long Qianli was ranked 295th. Their rankings were similar. Why are you in such a hurry? Wait a minute. Let the others fight first, and I'll fight you later. Bloodsword 19 looked at Long Qianli and sneered. Long Qianli's face darkened. In the past few days, the Heavenly Corpse sect had sent out their prodigies in the 2nd and 3rd layers of the spiritual ocean tier. The Emperor Heaven Divine Palace could not afford to lose again. 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, who wants to fight me? On the stone platform, the Heavenly Corpse sect disciples continued to challenge. I'll do it. A voice came from afar, and a streak of light flew over rapidly. Boom. Then, a figure landed on the stone platform. Ji Zhong, it's Ji Zhong. Ji Zhong, 359th on the list of top 1,000 talents, is a quasi-prodigy. Good, there's hope now. The crowd was somewhat excited. Finally, a quasi-prodigy in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier came. Although the list of top 1,000 talents had not been updated for a long time and countless geniuses had risen to prominence, the rankings of the previous list of top 1,000 talents no longer had any authority to determine the combat prowess of the current geniuses. Some prodigies rose, some progressed slowly, and some even soared into the sky and awakened the god-level bloodline. Therefore, the prodigies on the list of top 1,000 talents were now in a complete mess. However, it could still be used as a reference. Those who were previously ranked at the top would not be too weak. Ji Zhong, I hope you won't let me down, the Heavenly Corpse sect expert said. I hope so too, Ji Zhong said coldly. Then, the two began to fight. But after a dozen moves, the crowd was shocked to find that Ji Zhong was completely suppressed and at a disadvantage. After another dozen moves, Ji Zhong was sent flying and coughing up blood. He was defeated again. Haha, you're really weak. Let me tell you, I'm not the strongest in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. There are many more in the Heavenly Corpse sect who are stronger than me. The Heavenly Corpse sect genius sneered. Humph, what are you so proud of? It's just that our prodigies are not here now. At the exchange half a month later, all the prodigies will be here. Let's see how arrogant you can be then, someone said indignantly. The Heavenly Corpse sect people sneered. They naturally knew that the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace would not only have so few prodigies. Many of them were in seclusion, but what did it matter? Their goal was to break the morale of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Whoosh! Whoosh! Just then, a few more streams of light flew over from the sky, and 6 young figures appeared. The appearance of these figures immediately attracted many people's attention. This was because there were 4 young women in this group of 6. Each of them was extremely beautiful, especially Xian Yanqing, who attracted many people's attention. These 6 people were naturally Lu Ming and the rest. Lu Ming, it's you. Suddenly, there was a cold shout, and several figures flew out, their killing intent not concealed at all. Chaotic winds and cloud. A flash of killing intent appeared in Lu Ming's eyes. The one who spoke just now was Luan Fengyun. Half a year ago, Luan Fengyun had ambushed and injured Xian Yanqing with a bow. Lu Ming would never forget that. He did not expect to meet Luan Fengyun here again. Lu Ming, you guys have been hiding for half a year. Let's see where you can hide today. Luan Fengyun looked at Lu Ming and the rest with killing intent. His gaze paused on Luan Tingting for a while before looking at Long Qianli. His only fear was Long Qianli. He was afraid that Long Qianli would interfere. Hiding for half a year? Lu Ming curled his lips. Lu Ming, we meet again. Suddenly, another person appeared from the crowd. A figure stepped into the sky. Wang Ju. Chapter 823. He hadn't seen Wang Ju since the Heaven King ranking battle. He should be cultivating in seclusion, but now he had appeared. What's wrong? You're looking for a beating after being defeated? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lu Ming, I lost in the Battle of the Kings, but what's the big deal about losing in the King Realm? The Sea of Soul Realm is where the geniuses compete. Defeating you now is as easy as flipping my hand. Wang Ju's body emitted a blazing aura. On the other side, the people from the Heavenly Corpse sect were watching with interest. They didn't expect the people from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace to have internal strife. They were naturally happy to see it happen. Long Qianli frowned slightly. He naturally recognized Lu Ming, but he had already helped Lu Ming and the others once. He couldn't interfere with Lu Ming's private matters every time. After all, the other party was an ancient family. Moreover, his gaze was fixed on Wang Haoxian, who was behind Lu Ming. He was very surprised. Why would Wang Haoxian stand behind Lu Ming? If Wang Haoxian attacked, he wasn't confident. Wang Ju, why don't you let me deal with this person? Luan Fengyun looked at Wang Ju. All right. Wang Ju nodded. It would be best if Luan Fengyun could deal with Lu Ming. Whoosh. Just then, a figure flashed and blocked in front of Lu Ming. If you want to touch Lu Ming, you'll have to get through me first. Wang Haoxian said coldly. Wang Haoxian, what are you doing? Luan Fengyun's expression changed drastically. He naturally saw Wang Haoxian just now, and he was also curious. Why would Wang Haoxian come with Lu Ming and the others? He thought that it was on the way. If you want to touch Lu Ming, you'll have to defeat me first. Wang Haoxian said coldly. This made Luan Fengyun's expression turn even uglier. Wang Haoxian was a god-grade genius who had awakened a god-grade bloodline. How could he be a match for him? Wang Haoxian, why are you doing this? Wang Ju asked with a bewildered gaze. He was from the same clan as Wang Haoxian. Wang Haoxian was an incomparably arrogant person. His talent was extremely high, and he was completely focused on cultivation. He had never treated others well, especially men. Apart from her brother Wang Haotian, she had almost no friends. Now, she was actually standing in front of Lu Ming, helping Lu Ming block the enemy. This was somewhat inconceivable. Not only him, but the others were also in disbelief. Many people who didn't know Lu Ming were guessing who Lu Ming was to be able to make the god-level genius Wang Haoxian act like this. Page, I'll spare you today for the sake of Wang Haoxian, Luan Fengyun said coldly. Then she turned around to leave. Did I say you could leave? Even if you're not looking for me, I'm looking for you. Lu Ming's voice rang out. He took a step forward and said, Wang Haoxian, there's no need for you to interfere. I'll deal with it myself. Chaos wind and cloud stopped and glanced at Wang Haoxian. Wang Haoxian took 2 steps back, as if he was very obedient to Lu Ming and had no intention of interfering. This made many people feel surprised again. Chaos Wind and Cloud also frowned and said, "Lu Ming, since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Then, a powerful aura rose from his body. He was at the peak of the 5th level of the spiritual sea realm. Obviously, Chaos Wind and Cloud had made great progress in the past 6 months and had advanced to a higher level. A big bow appeared in his hand, and his aura became sharp. Swish! He stepped back and narked an arrow. An arrow instantly traversed the space and shot toward Lu Ming. It was as fast as lightning and as powerful as thunder. Many people were secretly shocked. Chaos Wind and Cloud was indeed a quasi-genius on the list of top 1,000 talents. His combat strength was extremely powerful. Not many people at the same level could dodge this arrow. Xian Yanqing, Fatty, and the others didn't move at all, as if they weren't worried at all. Lu Ming also didn't move and let the arrow hit him. It was as if Lu Ming didn't react at all. Lu Ming was going to be killed. This thought flashed through many people's minds. The arrow pierced through the air and shot toward Lu Ming's forehead in an instant. At this moment, Lu Ming finally moved. He stretched out a hand. Few people could see when he stretched out his hand, and he caught the arrow. The arrow stopped steadily in front of Lu Ming's forehead, less than an inch away from Lu Ming's forehead. Almost everyone widened their eyes in shock. Lu Ming actually caught the arrow with his bare hand. This arrow was not shot by an ordinary person, but by Chaos Wind and Cloud, who had reached the peak of the 5th tier of the spiritual sea realm. It was absolutely terrifying and could kill an ordinary expert at the 7th tier of the spiritual sea realm. But Lu Ming casually caught it in his hand. This kind of visual impact was seriously too great, making people's minds go into a trance. Chaos Wind and Cloud, I haven't seen you for half a year, and you haven't improved at all. Lu Ming smiled slightly. His fingers exerted force, and the arrow in his hand shattered. Chaos Wind and Cloud's pupils shrank rapidly. She retreated quickly, and at the same time, the big bow in her hand drew again. Shio! Shio! The rapid arrow was a series of 9 arrows, and they formed a straight line. The arrows at the back collided with the arrows at the front, causing the arrows at the front to explosively increase in speed. As for the first arrow, its speed increased to a terrifying degree. However, Lu Ming took a step forward and struck out with his palm. The arrow was shattered into pieces by the impact. Chaos Wind and Cloud was shocked and retreated quickly. Lu Ming took a few steps, and appeared in front of Chaos Wind and Cloud in a flash. Chaos Wind and Cloud was terrified. She exploded with all her strength, and a battle blade appeared in her hand, slashing at Lu Ming. Lu Ming struck out with a palm strike, and the battle blade shattered. Lu Ming clawed at Chaos Wind and Cloud's throat. Chaos Wind and Cloud's Jin Yuan was completely sealed, and she struggled in Lu Ming's hand. Everyone was shocked. Chaos Wind and Cloud was a quasi-prodigy, and was extremely powerful. But in front of Lu Ming, she was like a chicken, unable to withstand a single blow. All of her attacks were easily broken by Lu Ming. Those who knew about the battle at 100 Supremes Mountain were even more shocked. At that time, Lu Ming was completely suppressed by Chaos Wind and Cloud. But now, only half a year had passed, and Lu Ming's battle prowess had reached a terrifying level, completely crushing Chaos Wind and Cloud. It was truly terrifying. Let him go. Behind Chaos Wind and Cloud, 2 young men shouted, and attacked Lu Ming at the same time. Peng! Lu Ming kicked out, and the power of 9 dragons' sky stomping steps was contained within. The 2 young men were at the 6th layer of spiritual sea realm, but they weren't prodigies, and were far weaker than Lu Ming. They both spat out mouthfuls of blood and retreated. Lu Ming's finger appeared in a ray of light, and he struck out. Poochie! Blood splattered everywhere, and one of Chaos Wind and Cloud's arms flew out, and was cut off by Lu Ming. Chaos Wind and Cloud let out a low roar, and her body struggled with all her might. Lu Ming swung, and Chaos Wind and Cloud was sent flying. This arm, I'll take it as paying you back for that sneak attack. If you can't accept it, you can come and fight me again, Lu Ming said coldly. Chaos Wind and Cloud roared, and used her martial arts to stop the bleeding. She looked at Lu Ming with hatred and shock. On the other side, Wang Ju's pupils contracted rapidly, and his heart was in turmoil. Wang Ju's battle prowess was powerful, and his talent was shocking. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to enter the Heaven King ranking. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.